Blackport never knew how to stay quiet. Even here, inside the soundproof isolation room of St. Agnes Private Clinic, the city seeped through. For some people, this was silence. For Dexter Vance, it was torture. He sat perfectly still on a molded plastic chair. His world had been reduced to what his Peltor Comtac active tactical headphones allowed. Nothing louder than a whisper. Everything else was cut off. And yet, he still heard it. The fluorescent light above him wasn't just shining, it was humming. A nasty, probing sound, like a swarm of angry wasps trapped inside a glass jar. Electricity crawled through the walls, and Dexter could hear it. Low, vibrating, bass-heavy. It made his teeth ache. He slid a hand into the pocket of his leather jacket and found the pill bottle. Gave it a shake. The dull clatter of plastic tablets sounded like maracas. Too loud. He swallowed 2 pills dry. The bitterness scorched his throat. Mute the world before the world drives you insane. Across from him, on the hospital bed, sat Alex, the only survivor. The kid looked like he'd been chewed up and spit out. Scratches across his face, eyes fixed on nothing, hands resting limply on his knees. "Your father doesn't pay me to stay quiet, Alex," Dexter said. His voice came out dull, bouncing off tile walls. His own voice always sounded wrong to him, like something played back on old tape. Alex didn't blink. "Catatonic stupor," the doctor said. Dexter snorted silently. He didn't trust doctors. He trusted sounds. Slowly, carefully, he lifted his hands and removed the headphones. The world collapsed on him. The faint rustle of the bedsheet as Alex shifted his leg hit like sandpaper on glass. The ventilation system howled like a jet turbine. Dexter winced. The old burn scar on his neck twitched violently. He shut his eyes and focused. He needed only one thing, a heartbeat. Thump, 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 thump. Fast, too fast, 120 beats per minute. But it wasn't chaos, not the frantic flutter of prey cornered in fear. This rhythm was steady, powerful, mechanical. This wasn't fear, it was adrenaline, the heart of a predator right before the leap. Dexter opened his eyes. Alex's pupils were dilated, but there was no emptiness in them. There was calculation. "You're not scared," Dexter said quietly, ignoring the way his own voice sliced through his skull. Alex turned his head just a fraction. To Dexter, the creak of cervical vertebrae sounded like dry wood snapping.
"They're already here," Alex whispered. Dexter felt it before he heard it. The floor vibrated. Boom, boom, boom. Heavy tactical boots. Concrete carried vibration perfectly. 3, no, 4, moving in formation, step for step. Professionals. "Down!" Dexter barked, yanking the headphones back on. The door didn't open. It exploded. Bang! For a normal person, it would have been a loud blast. For Dexter, it was a sledgehammer straight into his brain. White halos burst across his vision. His stomach clenched violently. Hyperacusis turned the explosion into physical agony, like red-hot needles driven straight into his ear canals. Black shapes filled the doorway, tactical camo, gas masks, silenced barrels rose in perfect sync. Dexter hit the floor, rolling behind a metal instrument cart. Bullets chewed the tiles where his head had been a second earlier. Clack, clack, clack. Metal on ceramic, sharp, lethal. "Clear!" one of them shouted, voice distorted through a gas mask. They were here to erase a witness. Alex slid off the bed, dragging the mattress with him for cover. He moved fast, too fast for someone in shock. Dexter drew his Glock, but didn't fire. 4 against 1, Narrow space, bad math. He needed something louder. His eyes snapped to the wall, the red handle of the fire alarm. In Dexter's world, sound was the enemy, but even an enemy could be weaponized. He surged forward, crossed the room in 2 strides, and threw his full weight onto the lever. The siren detonated reality. Even through the active protection, Dexter felt his skull vibrating. It was unbearable. Blood poured hot from his left ear, soaking his collar. He screamed but couldn't hear himself. The siren swallowed everything. The mercenaries had it worse. Surprise, confined space, tile walls reflecting sound perfectly. One of them dropped his rifle, clutching his helmet. Another staggered, completely disoriented. Sound hit the nervous system harder than any baton. "Move!" Dexter roared, grabbing Alex by the collar of his hospital gown. Alex obeyed, hands clamped over his ears. Dexter drove a boot into the nearest mercenary's knee. The crunch drowned inside the siren, and lired fire blindly toward the exit, laying down suppressive fire. They burst into the hallway. Red emergency lights strobed, turning it into a nightmare slideshow. Shadows danced along the walls. Dexter dragged Alex forward, following airflow, ozone, burning plastic, and somewhere beyond, rain. The exit. "Door!" Dexter slammed his shoulder into the service exit.
Night air hit them hard, wet, oily, gasoline-soaked. Rain poured down in sheets. City noise crashed over them, but after the siren inside, it felt almost soothing. An ambulance idled in the parking lot. The driver was smoking, window cracked. Dexter skipped diplomacy. He yanked the driver out and threw him onto the soaked asphalt. "Get in!" he yelled. Black figures poured out of the clinic doors behind them. Gunfire hammered the ambulance like hail. Dexter floored it. The heavy vehicle fishtailed, tires screaming, then launched into the night. The ambulance tore through Blackport like a wounded animal. Rain hammered the windshield. The wipers fought back in short, desperate arcs. They were losing. In Blackport, rain always won. Dexter's hands were locked on the wheel, white knuckles, shallow breathing. The siren was still screaming inside his head, phantom sound, residual pain, like a bad debt the nervous system never forgets. He checked the rearview mirror. 2 black SUVs, tight formation, xenon headlights, cold, clinical, hunting dogs. "Hold on," Dexter said, and snapped the wheel right. The ambulance skidded. Heavy frame leaned hard. Metal screamed against concrete as they kissed the barrier. The sound went straight through him. Muscles clenched involuntarily. Teeth ground. Alex didn't scream. He watched the side mirror. "Clear on the right," he said calmly. Too calm. Dexter shot him a look. The kid was bracing himself properly, feet planted, hands on the dash, body rolling with the turns. Not panic. Training. The first SUV rammed the rear bumper. Impact punched through the seat into Dexter's spine. "They're trying to spin us. Industrial zone. Go narrow." Dexter didn't answer. He already knew. He listened to the engine instead. The Ford's motor was screaming at the edge of tolerance. Somewhere deep inside, a valve started tapping. Tap, tap, tap. Bad sound. He slammed the brakes. The lead SUV overshot, clipped the side, sparks flying. Dexter gunned it and dove for the exit ramp. They plunged into the docks. No streetlights, just rusted cranes, stacked containers, and the ocean breathing somewhere in the dark. Slow, heavy, angry. Rain turned vicious. Each drop hit the roof like machine gun fire. Dexter killed the headlights. Now he drove by sound. Gravel under tires, engine echo bouncing off steel walls, wind pushing rain sideways. The SUVs blasted past on the upper road. Their noise faded, melted into the rain. Dexter pulled under the canopy of an abandoned warehouse and cut the engine.
Silence. Real silence. Just rain and hot metal ticking as it cooled. "We're here," he muttered, shaking out 2 more pills and dry swallowing them. The old radio station sat dead at the edge of the industrial zone. His den. Sound-treated walls, bricked-up windows, no neighbors, no questions. Dexter flicked on a dim lamp. Light clawed shapes out of darkness, an old desk buried in stripped electronics, a single chair bolted to the floor. He shoved Alex into it. Hands. Plastic zip ties bit into skin. Alex didn't resist. That bothered Dexter more than if he had. He crouched and read the details. Smell first. Sweat, wet earth, pine, and something else. Mineral, sharp. Dexter checked the boots. Heavy trekking boots, mud-caked soles. He scraped dirt off the heel with a fingernail and rubbed it between his fingers. Red clay. Greasy. Black flecks. Red clay, Dexter said. Coal dust. He looked up. Alex was watching him now. Really watching. Dexter grabbed Alex's right hand and pulled it into the light. The palm was clean. No strap calluses. No trekking wear. But the inside of the trigger finger, second joint, was thickened, yellowed. Shooter's callus. Thousands of rounds. Dexter stepped back. His hand rested on the pistol grip. The forest soil out there is black, Dexter said. Red clay's 3 meters down, or in old mines. Alex stayed quiet. Breathing slowed. And you don't have pack calluses, Dexter continued, but you've got a perfect trigger finger. You didn't get that from college notes. He raised the Glock. You're not a hiker, he said flatly. You went to dig, and you're a pro. Alex smiled. Not a friendly smile. A wolf finally done pretending to be a dog. You listen better than I expected, Decibel, Alex said. His voice changed, lost the shake, gained steel. But you only heard the first note. Dexter cocked the hammer. The click cut the room clean. Where are the other two, your friends? Colleagues, Colleagues corrected, and you won't find them. Dexter didn't blink. I buried them 3 days ago. Silence. You killed them? Contract's a contract, Alex shrugged. Fewer shares, bigger cut. But the forest wasn't in the plan. What happened? Alex leaned forward. Pulse spiked. Not fear, rage. He hissed. There was someone else, a fourth. We were digging when he started shooting. I never saw him. He locked eyes with Dexter. I only heard him. Alex swallowed. Before every shot, there was a sound, thin, high, like air bleeding from a tank. P't. Then my partner's head exploded. Cold crawled up Dexter's spine. He knew that sound. He'd heard it in nightmares. That's impossible, Dexter whispered. Alex smirked. We didn't dig up a bag, Dexter. We dug up someone's past. Thunder slammed the building. The rain intensified, trying to scrub Blackport clean. It wouldn't. Some stains never come out. The game had just started, and it was going to be loud. The rain followed them to the docks. Blackport's port was a graveyard for iron giants. Rusted cranes hunched against the low sky like dead dinosaurs. The rain didn't fall here. It beat the metal with jackhammer fury. For Dexter, it was hell. Every drop on a container roof, bang. Cables screaming in the wind, screech. Transformers humming, buzz. He cinched the headset straps until the plastic bit into bone. Alex sat beside him in the car, wrists cuffed. This is a mistake, Decibel, Alex muttered. He won't come alone. Shut up. Headlights sliced through the dark. A black limousine rolled into the open yard between stacked containers. 2 SUVs followed like obedient dogs. Dexter smiled thinly.
Come alone. Honesty died in this city before it learned to walk. The client stepped out, tall, old, perfect coat, gray hair whipping in the wind. He didn't flinch. Security spread out in clean arcs, sector discipline, pros. Dexter dragged Alex out, keeping the car between them and the guns. "Where are the documents?" Dexter shouted over the rain. The client stepped forward. No briefcase. "My boy was foolish," the old man said calmly. "No grief, just contempt. He thought he could steal from me." The puzzle snapped together inside Dexter's skull. "You weren't looking for your son," Dexter said. "You were looking for coordinates." The client smiled. "I sent him into the forest so he wouldn't return empty-handed," he said, "and I hired mercenaries to make sure he didn't return at all." Alex screamed. "I did kill him," he yelled. "One round to the back of the head just like you ordered, but someone else took the server." The client dabbed rain from his face with a white handkerchief. "Then I no longer need a witness," he said softly, "or a detective who hears too much." He waved the cloth. "Signal." Dexter answered the sound. 10 rifle safeties disengaging at once. Click, click, click. "Run!" Dexter shoved Alex toward a narrow gap between containers. Gunfire tore the night apart. The ambulance became scrap metal in seconds. Glass exploded. Steel screamed. Pain punched through Dexter's head, bypassing the headphones.
He hit the mud hard. "Into the maze!" he roared. They ran. The container labyrinth swallowed them whole. Red, blue, green walls rising into darkness. Oil-slick water underfoot. Dexter staggered. The pills wore off. The world didn't just make noise now. It screamed. Footsteps sounded like cave-ins. Alex's breathing like a bear's growl. Gunfire echoing off steel. Pure torture. He vomited bile and rainwater without slowing. "This way!" Alex dragged him into a side passage. Dead end. Dexter slid down a wet wall, gasping, hands shaking too hard to reload. "I need—" He tore through his pockets. Nothing. "They're closing in," Alex peeked, then recoiled as bullets sparked inches from his face. Jing! The ricochet made Dexter howl. He ripped off the headset. No more filters. Now he heard everything. Rain hitting a forklift 50 meters away. Leather creaking on mercenaries' boots. Alex's heart, irregular, stuttering. "You hit?" Dexter asked. Alex pressed a hand to his gut. Dark blood leaked between his fingers. "Grazed," Alex said. Weak grin. "Always hated the smell of fish." "You'll live," Dexter lied. He could hear life draining out of him, a wet, hollow sound. "No," Alex said. "Listen, Decibel. You're good at that." Gunfire paused. They were being herded. Dexter crawled closer. "Why the forest?" he asked. "The server was a cover." Alex grabbed his jacket. "We weren't buying a drive. We were buying you." Dexter froze. "Old Special Forces files," Alex whispered. "The ones that vanished after your accident. Someone wanted dirt on you." Thunder split the sky. "The hunt was real," Alex said. "You just didn't know who the prey was." His eyes glazed. "Who?" Dexter shouted. Alex smiled bloody. "The one who whistles." His hand fell slack. The heart Dexter had been tracking so carefully gave one last beat. Thump. Silence. Dead silence inside the storm. Dexter stood alone. Pain throbbed like molten lead behind his eyes. And in his ears, that sound, high, thin. Only now he understood. It wasn't outside. It was inside him. He rose slowly.
took a grenade from Alex's belt, pulled the pin. The click was deafening. "You want noise?" Dexter growled into the dark. "I'll give you a concert." He smashed the lone lamp. Darkness swallowed the docks. Absolute. Dexter didn't need sight. He became sonar. 8 targets. Left, 20 meters, smoker's lungs, wet nylon. Right, 2 inside a container, whispering, safety's clicking. "Night vision on!" someone screamed. Useless.
Rain turned IR into white milk. They were blind. He wasn't. Thunder rolled. On thunder, he moved. On silence, he froze. The first man never saw him. Weight shift, blind spot, knife into the base of the skull, crunch, body hit mud. 1 down. Automatic fire sprayed darkness. Shell casings rang like coins. Dexter flinched but mapped the shooter instantly. 3 o'clock, 15 meters. He threw a bolt across the yard. Bang! All guns swung. Dexter hit them from behind. No finesse, just terror. Bodies collided. 2 shots. Flash of teeth in the dark. Panic broke formation. This wasn't a fight. It was a slaughter. Breath before a scream. Throat crushed. Magazine clatter. Blade under ribs. Heartbeats racing, one by one stopping. Last one left. The client. Hiding by a crane, teeth chattering, heart irregular and loud. "I'll pay," the old man begged. "Double, triple, Zurich accounts." Dexter stopped 2 steps away. "Everyone offers money," he said quietly. "Nobody offers silence." "I'll give you the name," the client whispered. "Who set you up?" Dexter tilted his head. He heard it. Fabric brushing metal, a hand sliding toward a coat pocket, oiled steel. "You're too loud," Dexter said. The client lunged. Dexter fired first. The shot took him clean between the eyes. The body hit the crane with a hollow clang. Silence. The rain softened. Blackport exhaled. Dexter returned to Alex's body, searched the pockets. A digital recorder. He pressed play. Forest sounds, digging, laughter. Then, spt. His blood went cold. SR-25, defective gas regulator. His rifle. His voice came through the speaker. Contract complete. No witnesses. Dexter dropped the recorder. Memory flooded back. No fourth man, no mystery. Just him. Dissociative fugue, brain damage, experimental meds. When he needed justice, Dexter hunted. When he needed money, the shadow worked. The shadow took the contract, killed the son, killed the team, left Alex alive by mistake. Then Dexter woke up and hired himself to investigate. The client knew. That's why he came. Cleanup. Dexter picked up the recorder, pressed delete. Beep. Gone. He put on the headset. The world dimmed. Mozart filled the silence. Requiem. Lacrimosa. Clean, expensive, perfect. Dexter stepped over Alex's body, adjusted his collar, smiled. Not a hero's smile, a predator's. "Job's done," he mouthed. Then he vanished into the night, another shadow in a city that never washes its sins away.